Top of the morning, friends. Today we are going to be discussing whether or not modern, ultra-modern basketball card prospects, are they finally underappreciated, underpriced, undervalued, or just about right? Let's dig into this. Hello, sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends out there. I hope that you all are doing really good. It is the holiday season. We're trucking through to the end of the year. I'm just kind of rolling out of bed, so apologies for the hair, but we're just going to kind of keep going, guys. We don't slow down for hair here. We just don't. Lately, I've been taking a gander at some of the up-and-coming NBA prospects cards. There's been so much talk over the last 6 months, 9 months, almost a year maybe, about the GOATs and, buying into LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and, kind of the Hall of Fame, the proven Hall of Famers, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I love that conversation. It makes a lot of sense to me. But at some point, I think we have to discuss the pendulum swinging too far, maybe. And again, maybe this is not correct. And I'm not necessarily throwing this out there as I'm speaking with conviction. This is more of a question mark. But I think the one thing that struck me is the prices for parallel rookie cards. So I'm not talking about base rookie cards for new players. I'm not talking about base Prism, Jason Tatum rookie cards in a PSA 10 or Luka Prism, or something like that. I'm looking more at at the parallel type stuff. A lot of it has come down in price fairly dramatically if we're looking over the last couple of years. A lot of the prospecting in the NBA has moved over to Jordan, Kobe, Tom Brady or whoever, Wayne Gretzky. And that makes sense. People kind of move to safety, especially when prices start to, kind of retrace. It makes sense. The GOATs are kind of the blue chips is what people like to call them. And it's totally understandable. But I have to think, though, a lot of these guys are starting to age up. When we talk about LeBron James, for example, he turns 37 this week. And I watched the game last night with the Nets, who did not have Kyrie Irving, per usual, and did not have KD. And really, the Nets were in control the majority of this game. There was a late charge by the Lakers, but they fell short. They're 2 games under 500 now. AD is out for a month. Westbrook doesn't look like himself. I mean, last night it was weird. He just couldn't get a basket to fall. He had layups that just weren't going down. And it wasn't that he wasn't playing hard. He was running and he had all the energy that Westbrook typically has. And it just wasn't happening for the Lakers. And again, it's team chemistry. A lot of it. We're 33, 34 games into the season at this point. So we're not even to the midway point. But for these Lakers and for a lot of teams, it's like once you get kind of to the midway point and kind of that, the 50, 60 game mark, they really have to get things figured out in a hurry. And so these Lakers over the next 20 games, it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of pull things together. But the main point here is that LeBron's not getting any younger. I think at this point, he's really just kind of chasing the scoring title. Sure, he would love to add another title, I'm sure, or another title or two. But the reality is he's turning 37. He's, always been highly durable. So that's never in question. But, at some point, Father Time comes. He comes for everybody. All these Hall of Famers, the career ends up coming to an end. Steph Curry is a really interesting one. And the reason why is because he is 33. He's the same age as KD. But his game is so much different than KD's. If you look at a lot of the guys like the Kobe and the Jordans, as they got later into their career, they relied a lot more on their jump shot than driving the basket and dunking over everybody. They were fadeaway jump shot guys. And you think about a guy like Steph Curry, and he could very easily move away from the drive to the basket type stuff. He could, and not that he takes a lot of punishment anyway, but as he kind of gets older, he could just sit back there and chuck up threes. He already does that anyway, but the point is that does it add to his longevity? because he is not, going to the basket, taking the same sort of a physical beating that like a LeBron James takes. But a lot of these guys, the Kawhi Leonards, the Paul Georges, the LeBron James, a lot of these guys, they're not getting any younger, and you've got a lot of young NBA talent coming up, and there's so many question marks around them. But you know what? In 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, there are going to be winners in these races, which kind of makes it fun. When you look at, Zion, what's going on with Zion? Is he going to play again? Can he get his weight down? Luka, is his attitude in question? Is he ever going to be on a good team? Whereas like Luka was kind of like the lock to be like, he's the next guy, he's amazing. All of a sudden this year, he's looked a little bit more human, and it's like, what's going on there? You've got so much young talent. So which of these prospects are going to emerge as kind of the next leaders? Giannis, he already has a title, so he's kind of an obvious one, but his prices are already expensive, really. But it's just a big thing. If I look at the scoring leaders, it's an interesting list, but I'm just going to kind of pick through and get the young guys. So LeBron obviously is up there. KD leads the league. But you've got Trae Young at 27.3 points per game. You've got DeRozan, 26.8. You've got Zach LaVine on the same team at 26 points a game. I love his game. And that young Bulls team is really interesting with Caruso in the mix. Giannis is at 27 points a game. Jokic is at 25.9. Jason Tatum, no one talks about him because the Celtics kind of struggling, 25.6 points. Donovan Mitchell, 25.1. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker each have 23.3 points per game. Anthony Edwards, 22.1. You've got LaMelo Ball, who's an exciting new player. He's at 19.8 points a game. He's a popular young player with his cards and with his card prices. And so you've got a lot of young talent. It's going to be interesting. And we've finally seen kind of that big pullback on these younger prospects. And I've been looking at it like, man, are there some opportunities in here? Which one of these guys are going to become more and more hobby relevant? Which ones do I like to watch play? And which ones do I want to kind of root for? Like I said, I like that young Chicago Bulls team. I was a Bulls fan in the 90s. I was a Jordan and the Bulls homer ever since the late 80s when they were losing to the Pistons each year. I was rooting for Michael Jordan to finally get over the hump, and then he just kept on winning in the 90s. And so I'm a bandwagon Bulls fan when it was convenient. So I was a 90s Bulls fan, but I've come back to them recently just because I like the young team that they've assembled. They're fun to watch. It would be great to see them kind of make some moves in the East. Let me know, guys, are you targeting any of these young prospects? Because we have seen prices move down on a lot of them. With that move to the GOATs, there has been changes. And I'm not just talking about base rookie cards. I'm talking about, optic hollows. And I'm talking about, parallels of all different types. They're really, really down. Inserts, autos. I'm not to say that everything is way down, but there are certain pockets there that are really interesting. So let me know in the comments, which of the upcoming NBA prospects are you targeting kind of through the dip, if we will call it that, for some of these guys. I want to compare notes. So guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.